All right, we are back live on the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith, and I got Richie joining me today. Rich, how we doing, man?
I'm doing good, Duke. It's Friday Eve, and man. We got a high school playoff. It's actually state title game going on right now in my backyard. I think it's Avon and Cincinnati Anderson.
Nice, nice. Yeah, we're going to be up there this weekend. We'll get it kicked off right. The live show is going to be Saturday. At noon. Me, Carter, and Richie are going to be there. Producer Ed with the graphic. Thank you. We got this thing all carved out, ready to go. Championship weekend. All the conference games. There's a couple games on Friday, but the bulk of them are going to be on Saturday. I believe the game that kicks off at noon is the Big 12 championship. We're going to go an hour into that, and then outside of that, we're going to be hanging out, having a couple of cigars, and hanging with the people. And also, if you're watching out there on Twitter, come on over to YouTube and get involved in the chat. We got a couple of guys over hanging out today, so we're going to be and yes, I forgot about that. We got some people hanging out today, and then on Saturday or Friday night, me and Carter are going to be hitting Columbus up. We're going to be going around to a couple spots, hanging out and about in Columbus. So if you're in the Columbus area, even I don't know, we might hit up Pins, that whole Bridge Park area. The last time me and Carter were there, it was a grand old time. So. But Richie won't be with us, but we'll be hanging out in Columbus on Friday night too. So a lot of hanging out this weekend. But if you're watching on Twitter, come on over and hit the like and subscribe button and get involved in the chat. But Rich, we got some interesting things going on in the college football world. Something that just broke recently. The SEC is not letting Bevo on the sidelines. Matthew McConaughey, yes. I think the bull is less weird. I'm just going to make that statement.
I personally don't really care. I mean, I don't know what's the big deal. If it's their mascot, they should have let him. But hey, neither here nor there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Uga's going to be on the sideline or Uga makes the trip. Maybe Carter out there watching can maybe get us an answer if it's a burning people if it's a burning question that the people want to know, I guess. So we'll get into it. I think Carter's going to hop on getting that answer. I don't know. If you're watching, Carter, don't stress out about it if you can't get a definitive answer. But going down the list here, social media stuff. David Sanders Jr. signs with Tennessee. Do you blame? Is it an Ohio State thing on this deal, or did he just not want to come be a Buckeye? I mean, he had the impromptu visit.
I really thought he was coming to Ohio State. From what I was reading online, I really did think he was coming to Ohio State. I wonder how much Tennessee threw at him. I blame it on Ohio State.
Well, I think it was tough because I think he wanted to be. The big guys normally don't go more than 4 hours away from home. Columbus was 6. They like to stay close to home. I think the suite was a huge factor for the family because Tennessee's given him a suite. I just think that's something that it's hard to compete with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that really is because you want your family to be taken care of while they're watching you play. So I mean that makes sense to me.
So you got that whole aspect of it, and then people out there that are on the Ohio State side of things think the brawl doesn't matter after the game. I think that matters.
I think it matters completely.
I think it's a bad look.
Yeah, it's a terrible look. But I agree with you on that. It's
because
it's going to shy some people away, Duke.
Because the insiders said all all with the recruitment of David Sanders that they disliked the culture at Georgia. Was one of the big factors that they had, is that they just disliked the culture. And I mean, I get that to a certain extent, and then you have a bench clearing brawl at the end of it, but who knows? It's, water under the bridge now. He's going to be a Tennessee Vol. Is he going to help Tennessee in his first year while they're paying him a ridiculous amount of money? Who knows?
I'm curious to see how much what the bag was.
Oh, I bet it was close to $2 million.
You think it was close to 2?
Mm-hmm. Ohio State wasn't going to pay him.
Gotcha.
Because it's tough to justify that, because if you have a kid that he probably isn't going to start year one. It's tough to justify in my mind. Me and Carter went through this whole NIL situation, yesterday. We thought it was dumb that that they had this whole, thing going on with paying the kids. And I don't think that they should limit their earning potential at all. I'm very vocal about that, but you can't cap something that's not negotiated by either side.
True, because they're not a union.
Yeah. Like the NCAA, like what's the share of revenue going to be? It's not negotiated. You're going to have lawsuits. The lawyers are going to be lining up in Indianapolis around the circle with lawsuits from everybody.
Yep.
So and I'm on record saying I think the system is dumb, but this is what we have. I mean, you can't say that, oh, we got to have a salary cap. It's not going to work like that. And then you're going to have NIL on top of it, and these universities are going to have to come up with money. And you look at somewhere like Ohio State, they made a ton of money, but do they have an extra $25 million in the budget?
Somebody's got to check their books.
Because I think it creates a bigger disparity. But during COVID, Ohio State had to take out a loan. That's documented. I heard Kirk Barton say that.
Oh, I didn't know that at all. That's news to me.
Yeah, if you look, they had to take out a loan from another side of the university to keep the doors open for the athletic department. So everybody that thinks these universities are made of money, they spend right all the way up until they're very few of them making tons and tons and tons of money. So, but with that being said, we'll skip around a little bit here until producer Ed puts down the salami. Deion Sanders thinks because of Travis Hunter, they should be in the 12-team playoff. I disagree. I disagree with that, but
what's his reason? Because Travis Hunter's in the playoffs.
Well,
I'm sorry. In the high end is going to be the Heisman.
Yeah.
Jane Daniels was in the playoffs last year and he won the Heisman. So even though it was a 14 playoff, show me why LSU should have been in the playoffs last year.
I just don't think that. Which I get what he does. He says that he says some stuff that irritate people on purpose, and this is an inflammatory comment. He knows it.
Just to get the people going.
Yeah. Producer Ed put the salami down. He's back. I just don't lose games, and you'll be in the playoff. That is going to be my answer to everybody. The Ole Miss fans, South Carolina, Alabama. It's going to be the answer to everybody. Well, don't lose any games, and you'll be in the playoff. Period.
Right.
That's like if Ohio State lost a third game and they weren't going to be in the playoff, and they're like, well, we should be in the playoff. We were, number whatever all year. Well, don't lose that third game.
Don't lose that game.
Yeah, don't lose.
Handle your business. Execute.
It's, that's what it is. I mean, do I feel bad that Travis Hunter is not going to be in the playoff? I don't care. I want to see the best teams play. The best player, right. He's going to go play in the Meineke Car Care Bowl. That's it. And then he's going to be in the NFL. If you wanted to go
top draft pick coming out.
I mean, him and Shador are going to be top draft picks. I mean, I'm not going to be on the Shador hate train. I mean, Shador looks a shitload better than Carson Beck. I can tell you that much.
I'd rather take Shador than Carson Beck if I was up for drafting a quarterback.
And then I think we'll dive into the Florida State thing right now. We'll switch gears a little bit here because I wanted to spend some time on this. The Florida State, see, producer Ed's got it. The last two Heisman Trophy winners have not made the playoffs, so who cares? That is a fair point, producer Ed. But the Florida State thing, the decommitments, yikes. Well,
wasn't it like 57 to like 57 decommits to like 52 commits or something? Wasn't it?
50. Right? Florida's decommitment class ranks higher than their recruiting class. Well, this is Mike Norvell's fault. I'm not even going at the coaching side of it here. This is his fault. He fired Alex Atkins, which was his lead recruiter. That was his dog. That was his go-getter. And you can't fire the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator and think that it's going to, work out.
Right.
And especially you fire the coordinator, offensive line coach that calls the plays that it's not he didn't call the plays. Mike Norvell did. So we'll see how this whole Florida State thing shakes out. But
I don't know, man. I think it's looking grimmer and grimmer for Norvell. I feel bad for the guy.
Well, I knew the Florida State administration wanted they had to have some sacrifice.
Some sacrificial lamb.
So he offers up Atkinson and the DC, which I think that's a total betrayal of trust. And I think, they were asking recruits about, well, how does it feel your lead recruiter got fired? And it's like, well, I don't know. What do you think the kids are going to think? They have somebody recruiting them for a year and a half, and all of a sudden we fire them.
It's like your boss that. It's like your boss. Somebody's like trying to interview you. They're interviewing you. You're going through the interview process, and they end up getting fired. It's like, and then somebody else comes in. It's like, what are your thoughts on this? Or do you still want to continue? It's like, I don't know. You just fired the guy that you were interviewing me with.
Right. You have a ton of people that, some people don't like that when you completely change things like that. And it's a wild endeavor to think that, firing your OC and DC is going to solve your so-called problem of not being able to score points. I don't put them not scoring points on Alex Atkins, because Florida State was just 13-0 a year ago and complaining about not making the playoffs. And Jordan Travis gets hurt and they don't make the playoffs, and they get dog walked. They'll going into the offseason by Georgia. I mean, clearly, and then they had a bunch of opt-outs, and then they brought in another bunch of portal guys again. And if I'm a high school kid, why go to Florida State if you're not going to be a starter, you're just going to they're going to go get portal guys.
Yeah.
So I think that is something that, needs to be discussed, at least because of the amount of guys that they brought in. And a lot of them didn't pan out. You have the DJU, he ended up getting hurt, and I don't think DJ. I mean, a lot of people have wrote him off and gave up on him and think that he's not going to play in the NFL. I just think he needs coached. He did great with Jonathan Smith last year. That's at Michigan State right now. I think Norvell thought he was getting something polished and like a finished product, and
didn't have much to work with. No problem. We'll sling it.
And the receivers, I think DJ lost confidence in the receivers at Florida State because they dropped a ton of balls this year, especially in that Georgia Tech game. It was clang, 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 clang.
Stonehands need some stickums. I wonder how many kids from Florida are going to hit the portal.
Mm-hmm.
Like those two tailbacks. What is it? Williams and what's that other kid's name? It's like escaping me right now.
But yeah, I'm on the trek of I don't know if they can get this, if Norvell can turn this around. Because it seems like the morale is down, the culture's down. I'm assuming DJ's probably out of there. He's going to be going somewhere else. I don't know how many linemen portal. This is all just virtually speculation. I don't know. And and then now you got to pay the buyouts of those coaches you fired. So
they are in a mess. It is a mess.
Yeah, I think Florida State is hell. It's a hellscape at this point. It is not looking good. A lot of it's going to be on how does Mike Norvell rebound, because I think the fans are going to want some type of blood again on the stick. Just because of how bad the season was. I mean, going from 13-0 to 2-10, and that is a
talk about a fall from grace.
Oh, here we go. Bill. He's out there. I just wearing a black vest, Bill, and an orange shirt. I'm sure we're approaching times for you to hit the golf simulator. I get it. Can't go out there and at least you'll spend less on golf balls. For Bill there. Horrendous swing. Looks like Charles Barkley. It's like rough stuff. Feel bad for the guy, but so I guess we'll see how the Florida State thing pans out. Maybe it's good they're not bowl eligible. Maybe Mike Norvell can do some self-reflection. I don't know, something. He's got to do something.
Maybe he steps down.
No, he's not going to do that.
You don't think he'll step down?
No, he's getting paid way too much money. He will go out on the sword. It's like his buyout's like $70 million.
Jesus.
They gave him a bad contract. They did.
That was a terrible contract.
And they can't get out of it. And it's like Brian Kelly's. It only goes down $10 million each year. So 70 to 60, 60 to 50.
Brian Kelly.
And then
I think they're gonna LSU's gonna write him out until they can get some young blood in there.
And then also, this is another interesting endeavor. The University of Michigan
fired their OC.
Yeah, they fired their OC, but they gave Ward Emanuel a contract extension.
I didn't hear that. I didn't see any of that. When that happened?
Yeah, he got extended today. He got extended today. His deal's re-up through 2030. 2030. So that is a very interesting endeavor. So that is true, Lee. That is true. But yeah, so I think that we're to the point now of, the Ward Manuel getting a contract extension is wild to me, but I guess we'll see how this whole thing shakes out. But with that being said, I guess we'll go ahead and reset the show here before we get on to the rest of it. If you're watching out there on Twitter, come on over to YouTube, and we got a couple people in the chat interacting tonight. I got Bill trolling me like usual. We got the back part of the show left to do yet, but December 7th, Hubbard, Ohio, we're going to be live from Cigario Cigar Bar up there in Hubbard, Ohio. It's going to be a good time. Me, Richie, and Carter are all going to be there checking out the producer Ed with it. And
Cigarro.
yeah, Cigaro. So we're gonna be up there hanging out, doing everything, having a couple of cigars. And Friday night we're gonna be out and about in Columbus, out on the town. Me and Carter. Richie won't be with us. It's a big turnaround for him. So we'll be out in a couple parts of the city tonight. We'll be taking in the games that are on Friday night. I believe it's the American Championship and. Who else plays on Friday? There's another one.
Yeah. It's not the MAC, is it?
No.
I think the MAC plays Saturday.
Jacksonville State, Western Kentucky, and then we have
UNLV in Boise.
Boise. So we got a couple of games, and I have a big eyeball on that UNLV Boise game. We'll see how that is going to.
We'll see how well Genty does against them.
Yeah, we'll see.
Is that their second time? Yeah, because they beat them by 5 back. Was it?
Yep, it is. It's kind of a pseudo rematch. We'll see how that is going to pan out.
And they always say it's always tough to beat the same team twice, so it'll be interesting tomorrow night, Duke. Like I
think there's a lot riding on this, just for the simple fact of we have the conference championship, and win and you're in. I think UNLV wins this, they're in. And then we go down to Tulane Army.
Army.
For as much as Army's been good this year, I'm still telling everybody that I think Tulane is far better. I mean, they came out and laid an egg. I don't know what that was about against Memphis, but they came out and laid a gigantic egg against Memphis, and I think that John Summerall's got the fellers right. And will this be his last game at Tulane? That I do not know. There's a lot of speculation around him taking another gig. I don't know if he's going to. I haven't really inquired about that. I think there will be more that will come out in the coming days after. And I think a lot of programs are waiting to cut bait with a couple of people until after this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they're trying to give the new coaches the freshest start they can because of how the calendar's changed. And I don't think you're going to hire any of the coaches that are in the college football playoff. I mean, they may get job offers, but you're going to be walking into mid-January right into the heater of recruiting. So that's what we got rolling on that side of it. We will roll. Urban Meyer says he's not coming back to Ohio State. You buying it? You buying what Urban is saying?
I don't think he's coming back. People are hoping he's coming back. He straight up said he's like he won't be able to survive in this type of this climate of college football with NIL. It's not like the old days. That's why Saban left.
I don't think Saban left because of NIL.
Why do you think he left?
I think he got tired of the whole gig itself. I don't think NIL helped. NIL didn't help, but it wasn't the sole reason. I'll just say that. I don't think it was the sole reason why he left. I think it was a combination of things.
Would I like him to come back? I'm lukewarm on it. I don't know. I don't know how he's going to adapt to the college football scene now as it was versus 10 years ago.
I don't know.
5 years ago.
I think it's tough to speculate on this one, and the problem is I think the kids that Urban would I think Urban would like it because he could get rid of people.
Okay.
Think of it that way, because there's a lot of times these coaches would have kids on the roster that they couldn't get rid of until after the season. And they're not stuck with anybody anymore.
Yeah, so you just shoo them out the door.
Yep, you can say, go get in the portal and go do something else. Get away from my program, because he can do that now. I think that, all the stories I've heard about Urban, do I think he'll overreact and do something, tell somebody that they're cut and then they go enter the portal and it might turn into a mess? Maybe. I don't know. But I know this much, the people in the Woody Hayes heads would be rolling. That's all I can think of. And Pantone would have a lot less time reading Buckeye Scoop's website. I do know that. So, but do I think Herbs comes back? I'm 50-50 on it. I think there's definitely a scenario to where if he agreed to it, they would come up quick with that buyout money, because the major donors love Urban.
I mean, I loved Urban when he was there. I was pissed when he left. Of course, with Drake the Snake. And Drake's not there, so maybe the boosters, maybe they get the band back together, bring him back. Time will tell, Duke. I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, I would love for him to come back, but my guts tell me I don't think he's coming back.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting endeavor, but time will tell on the Urban thing. I just feel like it's a delicate situation at the moment. So we'll see what the Urban thing is about. Carson Beck Snapchats have been circulating the internet. I don't know how you feel about this or care. I am on the side of, I think Carson Beck has been distracted all year, and this is just another thing to happen around.
Didn't I send that to you guys last night?
Yeah,
that kid, he's not gonna be, if he's not focused now, he's not gonna be focused come April next summer in training camp. I wouldn't waste a pick on that kid.
I think that this whole year, I mean, he's been bad. I mean, I get it. Georgia's been, good, but his numbers are down he's thrown more touchdown passes, but he's doubled the amount of interceptions he's thrown this year. So, and they've actually thrown the ball only 17 more times in the regular season. So, decision making not so good with Carson Beck. Taking over for Stetson Bennett. It hasn't been rainbows, sunshine, and My Little Ponies. And I think Carter's gonna hop on for 1 second.
How's it going, guys?
What's up, Carter?
What's up?
Carson.
You made him cry. But I was in the background just checking it out while I was getting him ready for bed. And did you guys see the one Snapchat from Carson Beck?
Yes.
Which one? The
one
after the Alabama game?
Yeah, the run me over with a car.
Yeah, so I don't have to play football anymore?
I'm telling you.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah. He Snapchatted this girl. He's in the locker room with his pads on, and he said, "Hey, can you run me over with your car so I can stop playing football?"
Wow.
And it's dude, you don't think that's going to be brought up in NFL interviews? Like, how much do you love football? You don't even want to play.
You don't even want to play.
Yeah.
That's where we're at right now. And, some of these guys do not want to play. And then the whole package deal, but I get it to a certain extent, not the run me over so I don't have to play football. But if Carson Beck is just a random engineering student, no one cares that he Snapchatted. You want to see this package or whatever he said. But I get it. It's just not a good look at all. It is really not
I just
good.
was timed up perfectly for me to be in here, but I just wanted to add that to see if you guys had seen it. But I'll let you guys get back to it.
That's news to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Keep it rolling, guys.
Yep. See you, Carter. Yeah. So
that's wild. Like, it's gonna be like Bo Callahan from Draft Day, like getting questioned and all that stuff.
Well, the Carson Beck stuff is just rough because he's got so much out there. I don't know how he digs out of it per se. I think it's a very, very tough look to even try to dig out of the narrative. I don't think that it's
the headlines come spring. It's going to be Carson Beck doesn't love football. That's what it's going to be.
I don't know if that is going to be the narrative. Kirby's pretty good at putting lipstick on a pig.
Jeez. That's a new one.
Well, it's going to be how do you save Carson Beck's draft stock at the end of the day? Because it'll get used. You'll get negatively recruited against on every quarterback you ever try to recruit and say, well, look at Carson Beck. Look at Carson Beck. Well, look at Stetson Bennett. You know, it's coming down. It's coming down to the wire right here on that, and we'll see. I don't know if it's a complete be-all, end-all. Could he maybe figure it out and have a good NFL career? I don't know. The jury's still out, but saying things like, I don't watch football, not a good look. Run me over with your car, not a good look. So
no, it's a terrible look.
So we'll see. And then we'll roll into Eric the Enemy. I don't know if reports say he was fired, but it was mutual. I don't know. To be honest, I could probably
all the experts on ESPN were saying he should have had a head coaching job in the NFL. Oh, how come he's not hired?
Well, it's because I don't know Eric the Enemy personally, and the only thing I can think of is that he's a football coach, and I don't think he wants to do the whole politicking thing to get an NFL job. Because it's for years, the whole issue was, well, is Andy Reid running the offense in Kansas City, or is it Eric the Enemy? Well, to me, it looks like Andy Reid was running the offense. Do I think that in his 2 coordinator stops, the offense has been bad? I think he did okay at Washington. I think UCLA was circling the drain, and it was just a carcass getting picked apart at times because as soon as Chip Kelly left, like everybody left. They hired Deshaun Foster. And it just I think UCLA could be a good program if you just have somebody that just buys into it. It could be great. You don't have to leave the Southern California area to build a team and to build a roster. You don't have to do that.
Because there's so much talent that comes out of that out of California. They just get the right guy in there. I mean, who was the last great UCLA coach?
I can't even.
There was Ken Wisenhunt. There was Ken Wisenhunt. There was somebody else. There was Jim Mora Jr.
Well, speaking of this, Robert McDaniel, 4-star kid, just breaking on 3, just breaking right now. UCLA's bringing in a new offensive coordinator, and bang, they get a kid to flip. So I don't know. Maybe it was Eric the Enemy, and I've heard a little bit that the guy's a straight up asshole, but I don't know. And at the college game, in the NFL, you can completely eviscerate and shred guys in film. In college, you can to a certain extent before you lose the kid. I think the losing put a big strain on the relationship, and I don't know. I don't think. I mean, Eric Bieniemy is a Southern California guy, so I thought it was going to work, and it didn't. I think that, but I mean, if you look at that collection of players that was out there at UCLA, it was not like, you're not set up for success. Like,
No.
you could have put Pop Warner out there. You could have, dug up Paul Brown. I don't think he would have had success because it was just everybody that was good left at UCLA.
They're doomed from the start.
Yeah, so when your roster gets completely rated, and a lot of the kids switch from UCLA to USC, and USC got a bump. So I don't think that both the UCLA and SC are going to figure out that coming to play, playing the second best conference in football is not going to be fun. It's not the Pac-12. You don't get Stanford. You don't get Arizona.
You don't get Washington. You don't get Oregon State. You don't get all those other teams.
You get Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, and you have that week in and week out, and it's going to be hard for them to make this adjustment.
Oh yeah.
There was people that said, "Oh, since USC's in the Big Ten, they're going to dominate Midwest recruiting." Like, okay, well, did you go watch Deshaun Foster's opening press conference? Yeah, that's gonna dominate recruiting. But anyway, we'll see how this thing pans out. I think Oregon and Washington they made better head coaching hires.
I think Oregon hit a home run.
Yeah, it's just how long can you hang on to landing?
Landing, and how long you can sustain that momentum.
Yeah, and I don't think Jed Fish is a bad hire.
I don't think so either.
It just depends on if you ask Zach Smith or not. He's not a big Jed Fish guy.
He loves young Urban.
Yeah, he likes Dan Landing, but
I think Landing's my age.
Dan Landing is doing an outstanding job. So we'll see how well that pans out. But I bet if you compare the records in 4 years of Washington and Oregon compared to USC, UCLA, it's going to be a huge drop off. And the Lincoln Riley thing, they're still doing the Lincoln Riley thing at SC. I don't know that, like, I mean, they can't fire him because of the buyout. I don't know, but if you're USC, who do you go get? That's the problem. Who wants that? Because the Coliseum's falling apart. The NIL is like shaky. You're competing with the LA nightlife as far as selling tickets. But when USC's great, it's good. But,
yeah. You know what? I've noticed that too, Duke. Like, the Coliseum is just.
It looks rough.
Looks like the Coliseum out in Rome. It's looking real rough.
Carter's in the background saying USC should hire Urban Meyer. Yeah, you want to make Ohio State fans hate you? That will make them hate you. It's just, USC is I don't know. You would think that would be a desirable job, downtown LA and doing all that, and I just can't get behind. Yeah,
so they were wanting. What was it, like 5 or 6 years ago? They were wanting Urban out there.
Yeah, and so was Texas. A lot of the, they wanted Texas to, him to come rebuild Texas, and, I think he passed on Texas because he knew what it was, and I think he passed on SC because he knew what it was. Texas is finicky. Their expectation is that of the Alabamas of the world, but for years they didn't put that into the program until they got Sark, and Sark said, "Okay, you're doing this, this, and this wrong. If you want me to be successful and win, we have to concentrate on these cattle cave of things to make it work." And Texas was like, "Okay, we'll see what we got." What we got going, and it's, it is what it is. So Texas trending in the right direction. USC trending in the wrong direction. And the wild thing is that USC didn't have a choice in the matter on getting rid of Sark, but they had a choice with Lane Kiffin. And at one point in time, you had Lane Kiffin and Steve Sarkisian as your head coaches, and you weren't successful. So is it a coach's problem or is it a university problem? Like we've said with Florida, is it a coach problem or a university problem? Because when you think about it, it could be a university problem.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we'll go ahead and reset the show, and then we'll get to the last two topics of the day, and then we'll ride off into the sunset if you're watching out there on Twitter, come on over to YouTube, get involved in the conversation. We got plenty of people in here tonight. Me and Richie are just chopping it up on this Thursday. So I had to double check to make sure what day it was, but chopping it up on a Thursday. Me and Carter are going to be out and about in Columbus on Friday night, probably hitting pins or maybe even going to Urban's Pint House. Might run into Urban Meyer again.
Is that where you guys are going?
Yeah, we might hit up the Pint House. Might stop by a couple local breweries and say hello and see what's going on. Carter's got various contacts in that industry, but we're going to be out and about Bridge Park area.
Thanks for the invite, guys.
No,
I'm messing with you guys. It'd be too much for me.
Yeah, because we're going to be out and about on Friday doing that thing, and then Saturday we're going to be up Hubbard, Ohio, live show noon, taking in the conference championship weekend, and then I believe on Sunday the playoffs will be set. So that is what we got going, and then also Steve's going to be up there. He's going to be up there hanging out, and it's going to be a good time. I believe noon. Me and Carter are going to be there for a while after, and so will Richie, having a couple of cigars, hanging out, watching some of the games. It just kind of sucks. The Big Ten championship is at 8:00, but if Ohio State was playing in it, it would be at noon. I would bet my house on that. But anyway,
did you know that game, the Big Ten championship, is not on Fox this year? It's on CBS.
What?
Yeah,
they sold it to. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's on CBS. I'm like, I thought it was going to be on. I'm like, it's at 8:00 on Fox. Then I looked at the other night, and I'm looking at it again. Yeah, it's CBS.
That's wild stuff. So, with that being said, hit the like and subscribe button. We're trying to grow the show. I think we're doing a pretty good job of it so far, and that's what we're doing. So, appreciate everybody out there listening that stuck with us for the majority of the season. It was we're building slowly. So. But with that being said, we'll get to the topic at hand that is on the thumbnail. Bill Belichick interviews at North Carolina. Do you like it or love it?
I like it. I'm kind of curious to see how well he'll transcend for being a 6-time Super Bowl champ to coming down to Chapel Hill.
I mean, he is best friends with, Nick Saban, so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because he was on staff in Cleveland. He had Saban at was he DB? I think it was D coordinator.
Yes, no. Saban was there.
Saban, Ferentz.
Yeah, they had a pretty legendary staff in Cleveland.
I think D'Antonio was there too.
Mm-hmm. So I think that I would be interested to see this move, and I think it would be Carter with Saban was the DB coach chiming in. I think that I don't hate this move. I mean, it's going to get Josh McDaniels employed. Jack T.
Oh, yeah.
College, why would he? Because he can't get an NFL job. None of the NFL owners want to hire him because
he's too old, and they're trying to make a youth movement.
I don't think it's the age thing. I think it's the thing that he said that because Belichick wants to be general manager. That's what that is. That is all that is. He wants to coach and be the GM.
Well, college is probably
That's
the right
all.
place for him.
Oh yeah, definitely. And do I think he'll get a sniff at the NFL? I think one of these owners that doesn't care. I think if he does a good job at North Carolina, I could see David Tepper hiring him and him just winning enough games to break the record. Yeah. I don't know if Belichick cares deep enough. I mean, you know, a lot of the NFL head coaches are egomaniacs, and I don't know. I think he wants to be GM. I think that's all that this boils down to is being general manager, because he wants to be able to make his own roster moves. But I think that if you're getting recruited by Bill Belichick, I think it. Yeah, Carter's right about that one. Yep. I think that Bill Belichick is. I think it would set you apart from other recruits. What makes you special as why he's recruiting you? I mean, the last 5 years, his draft rate wasn't great, but his signing free agents and bringing guys in and getting things out of players helps. But I don't know. Maybe it was Tom Brady. Maybe it was all Tom Brady, and he was a genius on defense, and the rules changed, and he got old, and that's that. And Robert Kraft, you know, I mean, in that documentary, Robert Kraft didn't pull any punches, like when the Spygate thing, and Belichick said, "Oh, it's not a big deal," and Robert Kraft called him a schmuck. So, I mean, that's what it is. And I think at the end there, the toxicity between him, Brady, and Kraft, Robert Kraft made a decision to keep his coach and not his quarterback, and it didn't work out. And I think Robert Kraft will regret that forever. Because you think Gerard, if they would have made Gerard Mayo the coach when they traded Brady, he could have won another Super Bowl?
Wait, say that again. If they would have kept Brady?
If kept Brady and shipped Belichick.
Yeah, I can't tamper with Arians.
That's a tough one. So, but I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of if buts of candy and nuts and all that.
We'll take that up.
And all that stuff like that. Rich, what is your thoughts on the playoff rankings? Charger here. Are you outraged that Alabama's in and Miami's out?
No, because Miami should have not lost those two unranked games like they did.
I don't know. Is Georgia Tech and Syracuse worse than Oklahoma, Vandy?
I mean, Vandy's pretty bad, but Georgia Tech was.
When was the last time Vandy was bowl eligible? Exactly. James Franklin, I think, is the last guy to get him to a bowl game. I don't know. But the Miami fans, I think, are like coping with it. But I think the issue, and me and Carter talked about this at length, the issue is that if Clemson wins the ACC, it gives the committee the biggest out in the world. Just because they can say, well, we can put SMU in the last spot and knock Alabama out. That's the thing of it. And I don't know if Boise's going to get a bye or not. I don't know.
So with the games coming Saturday, do you think Penn State can upset Oregon?
No, and the outrage is going to be, and I've said this, is that I don't think they're going to rank Penn State below Ohio State. And the Ohio State fans are going to go bananas.
You are right about that.
they're gonna.
Oh, it's bullshit. Oh, it's bullshit. We beat them. Well, they're the Big Ten champ. Like, you guys should have been in the Big Ten championship.
Exactly. Don't lose to Michigan, and you don't have that problem.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't care that Alabama bias. It doesn't bother me. But the Old Miss
Bama blitz.
The Old Miss fans are freaking out because they think that they have just as good a shot as being in South Carolina. The more and more I think of South Carolina, are they playing great football? Yes, they're playing some of the best football of anybody, but don't lose to Old Miss and don't lose to Alabama.
Right.
So I think that, and I think it would be very interesting if Iowa State sneaks in this thing. Although I like what Kenny Dillingham and Arizona State are doing, I just think that we're at this point to where the committee could get a golden parachute by Clemson and Dabo coming to save the day, because it alleviates them of the Alabama thing.
Right.
Now, I don't hate the fact, I can see why Bama can be in. I don't hate that idea, but there's a couple other programs that, the Big 12 is a one-bid league, but Colorado being in the top 12, you're 9-3. And, you're ranked behind Syracuse that just beat Miami. Syracuse beating Miami is better than any win that you have. I'm sorry, but it is. And,
right.
You guys couldn't beat Kansas State, so what are we doing here? And
Dion's argument with the whole they should
having Travis Hunter does not supersede Indiana being 11-1, SMU being 11-1, Tennessee 10-2, and Ohio State 10-2. Travis Hunter doesn't close that gap for me.
I agree. Yep, I agree.
Now, if you were 11-1 and playing for the Big 12 championship, okay, then you have an argument. If you were to lose, then you would have an argument. But at this point, you have no ground whatsoever with me, because you're 9-3 and you play in the weakest conference and you went 9-3. So, and you have which is a horrible loss now. That is Nebraska. Nebraska is a gaping sore on Colorado as far as, even consideration for the playoffs, in my opinion. So, and the Ole Miss, me and Carter went over the Ole Miss thing and hashed and rehashed that. Kentucky, there's no getting around it.
No.
In my opinion, there's no Kentucky. There's no way Kentucky, and then Bielema, doubles down with the Kiffin thing and says, well, how about our wins? And it's just like, come on, guys. You guys lost 3 games.
Everyone's got to put their 2 cents in about everything. Like, what about us? What about us?
But
it's
see,
it's like a little kid vying for attention.
It's gonna be like this next year, because let's say they take the top 14. Well, you would take everybody. You would take everybody, the top 14 teams besides Arizona, but they would be in. But the first team left out would be Clemson, and they'd be like, well, we're 9-3. Why can't we get in? Well, it'll be the 15th team. It's always that one last team that doesn't get in that they want.
It was like Baylor in 2014 when Ohio State got in.
Yep. I think it's going to be. It's going to be a 2014 playoff. I think so.
But yeah, they're just going to double it up and have at it.
And I think they're going to keep the conference championship games you watch, because they make too much money off of them.
That's a long ass season.
Yep. You would have to play, I think.
That's an NFL game or NFL season right there. Yep. You know what that's going to mean? You know what that's going to mean? More money for the NCAA.
More TV money.
More TV money. Yep. All that.
Definitely more TV money. That's a fact. And then it quiets the Miami fans. It quiets South Carolina. Because when they first rolled the 12 team out, I'm like, it's going to be the 13th team that wants in.
But here's my thing. Like, when do we say enough? Like, you gotta trim the fat somewhere.
No, I think that it's because it's because of antitrust and having all these academics around. 99% of it is, well, we want a fair shake. It's just like thinking of it this way. Alabama and Wake Forest are both Power 4 schools, right? Well, one of these is not like the other. I think we forget that a lot.
Correct.
I think Wake Forest would struggle in the Sun Belt. I think that there's some Sun Belt teams.
I think they maybe even struggle with the MAC.
I just when I look at things like that, one of these things is not like the other, and we have to figure that out. And until we do, Boise State is the big gaping thing that is not like the other programs. Could they go on a run? Yeah. Will they? I don't know. I mean, the Boise State thing I think is dumb. I think it's just pandering to a base. Do I think at times there's a group of 5 team that does deserve to get in? Yeah, but like when they put Cincinnati in, we see how that turned out. What was it, 41-14?
That was brutal. Watching them get trounced on national television. And I knew nothing was going to happen with them. I'm like, why the hell? Why? Why Cincinnati? Desmond Ridder at the time, he was nothing special.
But that's what they like.
Yeah.
That's what they like to do. And I guess the last thing before we get out of here is does Texas have a quarterback issue?
Yeah.
Do you think that we see Arch Manning more in this game coming up?
I say just a little bit more than we have. I wouldn't say a lot. I'd say a little bit more. If Ewer struggles and they're not getting it done against Georgia, he's gonna turn to Arch and say it's Arch Manning time.
Oh yeah, because I think Quinn's gonna get a bad NFL grade, and I think he'll hit the portal. Something's got to shake in Texas. I'm just saying, because as much as that you see the Arch coming in, and I think the big thing for me is when he went to him during the Georgia game looking for a spark. I'm like, yeah, he wants to play. He wants to play him.
He wants to play him now.
Yeah. I think that is coming down the pipe, and I don't know. It's going to be an uncomfortable situation because it would completely wreck Quinn's career if he gets benched.
Yeah, it would. I think he does hit the portal next year. I think depending on what happens in the playoffs this year, I think he'll go somewhere.
Because
maybe come back to Ohio State.
I wouldn't rule that out. I don't think. But then again, it depends on who the coach is going to be there, and we're not going down that rabbit hole at the moment. But But yeah, as we, closing this thing out, that Texas thing, I've been talking to Carter about it, and he was like, no, they're going to stick with Ewers. And then as we got, further into the season, you're seeing Arch more and more and more. And I think Sark wants to play Arch.
The writing's on the wall.
Yes. Definitely on the wall. And that is what we're doing here. So at that point, Rich, we got pretty much an hour in the books. I'll go ahead and close the show out. If you got anything else you want to hop on the bandwagon.
I got nothing else. Hope to see some people out come Saturday. Saturday for the conference championship games.
Yep. So with that being said, if you're watching on Twitter, come on over to YouTube and hop in the chat. Give us a like and subscribe. That always helps us out big time. Turn on those bell notifications. But with that being said, we're going to be out and about on Friday in Columbus, Friday night. We're going to be out and about Saturday, hanging out at the live show, Hubbard, Ohio, noon. Be there at high noon for kickoff of the games. We're going to go roll about an hour on the show. Check that out and see what's going on, and be hanging out for a bit, and we'll be around. And with that being said, give us a like and subscribe. Help us grow this thing, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.